So now we've got the proper pot. We've got the plant in the pot. And we found a good location for our plants. Now it comes to taking care of our plants. We talked about fertilizing earlier. We talked about putting in the right window. And now the best message I can give when it comes to taking care of houseplants is do not over care for your plant. That is how most houseplants are killed. It's usually by overwatering is the most common way. People think, oh, I got to water my plant every single day. If you have a desert plant, some of my desert plants, I have a cactus right over there. I have an aloe plant right over there. Some of these I haven't watered in 3 or 4 weeks. And when I do, I give them a tiny bit of water. I'm talking like a small cup of water, like a fraction of a cup of water. That's all it needs. It's a desert plant. Maybe it gets rain every few months. So don't over care for your plant. Overwatering is the biggest way to kill a plant pretty quickly. So when we're watering our plants, the best way to tell if it actually needs water is to touch the soil with your finger and notice if it feels damp. If it feels damp, it probably doesn't need water. There's already water in the soil. And once again, if this is not in a natural environment where the sun is going to be drying out the soil all day like it would be for an outside garden, or even if you have grow lights, the grow lights are not typically emitting heat. They're just giving the light it needs. So that's not going to be drying out the soil like it would equivalent for the sun. So I think it's best to underwater as best we can, play around with the watering. If you start to see leaves drooping, yeah, you probably need to give it a little bit more water. But general rule of thumb, if you touch the soil and it's damp, it doesn't need water. And other plants, if it is very dry, it may need water. But if it's a desert plant, very dry is also completely normal. So when I'm watering, like I mentioned, I will just use a cup, or I'll have a little spray bottle or a dropper. And I think it's best to aim to water by the roots, but also don't neglect the whole soil. Because obviously by the base of the plant is where the bulk of the roots are. They're going to absorb the most water. But like we mentioned earlier, eventually the plant is going to monopolize the entire container. And if you have very wet areas and very dry areas, it's not going to be great for the soil health. It's going to have some areas drying out, dying out. So we want to kind of evenly water as best we can. But for a very minimal amount of water, you can put it right at the base of the plant. So some of my favorite tools here, like I mentioned, a spray bottle. And again, I like glass. I just don't think that putting things in plastic is good for anybody. It's not good for the planet. It's not good for the water. It's not good for our plants. You're getting those little microplastics, those little low levels of chemicals going into your plants. I think it's important to use high quality water, whether that's natural spring water, whether that's a high quality filter. Because if you're giving your plants tap water, that's a whole nother topic. If you haven't watched any of my videos or podcasts about tap water, check out the Whole Health with Rob Carney podcast and look up messages from water. Tap water is terrible for life in general. So make sure you're using high quality filtered water or spring water to water your plants. Now, this is another great option, this little suction bottle. So basically you push it, get the water in, and then this is sometimes all that I give my desert plants once a month. This is it, just this amount of water. And they are doing pretty darn well. I mean, looking at this cactus I've had for years, they don't need a lot. They're not needing a lot of water. So don't overwater your plants. But learn to read the language of your plants. And this is the biggest message in this course to take away, is to learn the language of your plants. And not just your house plants, but plants in general. The more that we can learn this language, because plants don't speak for their language like humans. We are so dependent on our language of speaking to communicate. But there are so many other ways that the natural world communicates with other natural beings without the use of words and language. A lot of it is energy, a lot of it's body language. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're seeing your plant flopping over, there's an imbalance there. Most of the time, it's not getting enough water. It may mean it's getting too much sun if it's drying it out, which would mean a combination of both. We said earlier, if it's in the sun a lot, it's going to need more water. So learning the posture, what does it look like when the leaves are changing colors, if it's getting a little bit more dull, if it's looking more vibrant, what is this language of your plant telling you? And the more that we can learn the language of our plant, the more that we don't have to intellectualize things, we can actually just read the language. Or at this point, I can look at my plant. I don't have to Google or go online and try to figure out, oh, what is wrong with my plant? I can read the language of the plant and see, oh, this needs more sun. Oh, this needs less sun. Oh, this needs more water. Oh, this needs less water. Oh, this needs a little bit of fertilizer. And that takes time. But recognize there is certainly a language that these plants speak isn't even the right word. I guess, but yeah, for lack of a better term, these plants do speak a language, but it's not verbal. It's through body language, and you can sense after a while there's something up with your plant if it's starting to droop. So in the early stages, yeah, maybe you're looking up online what your type of plant needs. Oh, bamboo plants is turning yellow. What does that mean? What can I do? But eventually, you can start to intuit that and see what it needs naturally and how to best take care of your plant by learning its language. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching this video. This is actually a module that I had from the course Houseplant Basics, Your Guide to Healthy, Happy Plants, which is now entirely free on YouTube. So you can see the entire course. It's a mini course with a playlist I have linked here. If you're into wellness, you're into gardening, you're into plants, Health Connections is the channel for you. So I'd love for you to subscribe. If you found this interesting, would love to hear what you like about it, what you'd like to see more of, and that really helps me to deliver the best content to you. So thank you so much for watching. Have the best day ever, and I'll see you soon.